The debate surrounding the future of the Springboks captaincy has suddenly become one of the biggest talking points in international rugby after former England fly-half Stuart Barnes made a bold prediction about the future of legendary skipper Siya Kolisi. Few players have transformed a team, inspired a nation, and built a legacy quite like Kolisi, whose leadership helped guide South Africa to multiple historic triumphs and established him as one of the greatest captains the game has ever seen. Yet rugby is a sport where change is inevitable, and according to Barnes, the remarkable rise of young flanker Paul de Villiers during the recent Nations Championship could signal the beginning of a new era under head coach Rassie Erasmus. The comments have already sparked intense discussion among supporters, analysts, and former players, with many wondering whether the time has finally come for the Springboks to begin planning life after their inspirational captain. Kolisi missed the entire July international window through injury, meaning Erasmus was forced to reshuffle his forward pack and hand opportunities to younger talent eager to prove they belonged on the international stage. Rather than weakening the team, those changes appeared to strengthen the squad's depth even further. Throughout victories over England, Scotland, and Wales, the Springboks looked powerful, disciplined, and full of confidence, while several emerging stars announced themselves on the biggest stage. Among them, none attracted more attention than Paul de Villiers, the talented Stormers flanker who inherited the famous number 6 jersey and produced performances that exceeded almost every expectation. Week after week he displayed remarkable energy, fearless tackling, relentless work at the breakdown, impressive ball-carrying ability, and maturity beyond his years. His consistency quickly turned him from an exciting newcomer into one of the biggest success stories of the championship. Watching those performances, Stuart Barnes could not help but ask the question many supporters were reluctant to consider. Have we seen the beginning of the end of Siya Kolisi's reign as captain of the Springboks? Speaking on the Ruck podcast, Barnes made it clear that his comments were not intended as criticism of Kolisi, whom he described as a giant of the game and one of rugby's all-time great leaders. Instead, he argued that every legendary career eventually reaches a point where a new generation must be trusted. According to Barnes, the emergence of Paul de Villiers may have provided Rassie Erasmus with exactly that opportunity. He even compared the young flanker to legendary South African loose forwards Ruben Kruger and Heinrich Brussow, two players remembered for their exceptional commitment, work ethic, and ability to influence matches from the breakdown. Such comparisons are not made lightly, and they illustrate just how highly Barnes rates the youngster's potential. While many fans naturally remain emotionally attached to Kolisi, Barnes believes successful coaches must make difficult decisions based on what is best for the team's future rather than on sentiment. Whether supporters agree with that assessment or not, it has undoubtedly opened an important conversation about succession planning within one of the world's strongest rugby nations. The remarkable aspect of this entire discussion is that it reflects just how effectively Rassie Erasmus has rebuilt and expanded the depth of the Springbok squad. During this international window alone, Erasmus used an astonishing 49 players across all fixtures, including 43 during the Nations Championship, while introducing 6 new debutants to Test rugby. Such large-scale rotation would normally weaken a national side, but the opposite happened. South Africa continued winning convincingly, maintaining their physical dominance, tactical discipline, and relentless defensive standards, regardless of which players were selected. That ability to seamlessly introduce fresh talent without sacrificing results has become one of the defining strengths of the modern Springboks. It also demonstrates the extraordinary planning taking place behind the scenes, with Erasmus ensuring the squad is prepared not only for the present but also for the future, including another ambitious attempt to win the next Rugby World Cup in Australia. Rather than relying on a small core of experienced stars, the coaching staff have deliberately expanded the player pool, ensuring that injuries or retirements will not derail the team's long-term ambitions. Paul de Villiers has emerged as perhaps the clearest example of that strategy paying off. Instead of looking overwhelmed by the responsibility of replacing Siya Kolisi, he embraced the challenge and delivered performances worthy of one of international rugby's most iconic jerseys. His aggressive tackling, intelligent positioning, relentless work rate, and calm decision-making impressed teammates, coaches, and supporters alike. Even more importantly, he appeared comfortable within the demanding tactical system created by Rassie Erasmus, suggesting that the transition between generations may not be as difficult as many previously imagined. According to Barnes, that seamless transition is exactly what separates great coaches from merely successful ones. He suggested that Erasmus has recognized the perfect moment to gradually introduce the next generation rather than waiting until experienced stars suddenly decline. In elite sport, timing is everything, and history has shown that the greatest teams evolve continuously instead of standing still. Barnes argued that while there will always be emotional resistance to replacing an iconic captain like Kolisi, no player can remain at the top forever, regardless of past achievements. That philosophy has defined many championship-winning teams across different sports, where difficult selection decisions are made with the future in mind rather than rewarding previous accomplishments. Of course, none of this automatically means that Siya Kolisi has played his final match or permanently surrendered the captaincy. His influence inside the squad, leadership qualities, experience under pressure, and ability to unite teammates remain enormously valuable. Few captains in rugby history possess his combination of resilience, humility, and inspirational presence. Even while injured, his voice continues to carry significant weight within the Springboks environment. Nevertheless, elite international rugby rarely stands still, and every injured player knows there is always someone waiting to seize an opportunity. In Paul de Villiers, South Africa may have discovered exactly that player. The young flanker has not attempted to imitate Kolisi but instead has established his own identity through relentless effort and consistently outstanding performances. His rise gives Rassie Erasmus an enviable selection dilemma, one that many international coaches would gladly accept. Instead of worrying about a lack of experienced leaders, the Springboks now appear blessed with multiple players capable of guiding the team into the future. As preparations gradually begin for the next Rugby World Cup, competition for every position will only intensify, and nobody, regardless of reputation, can expect automatic selection. That culture of accountability has become one of the biggest reasons behind South Africa's sustained success. Whether Siya Kolisi returns to reclaim the number 6 jersey and captaincy or whether Paul de Villiers continues his remarkable rise remains one of the most fascinating storylines in world rugby. What is certain is that Rassie Erasmus has once again demonstrated why he is regarded as one of the sport's smartest coaches, successfully balancing respect for proven champions with the courage to develop future stars. Stuart Barnes' prediction may ultimately prove right or wrong, but it has highlighted an undeniable reality. The Springboks possess extraordinary depth, fierce internal competition, and a new generation ready to challenge established legends. For supporters, that is an exciting position to be in. Rather than fearing change, South Africa can look ahead with confidence, knowing that whether led by the legendary Siya Kolisi or the emerging Paul de Villiers, the Springboks remain firmly on course to compete for every major title in world rugby and continue setting the standard for excellence on the international stage.